Everybody land, all my wrestling fans, coming at you live in color. Let's see, let me turn this off, get my notes, turn that down a little bit. Get my notes out. First of all, before we even get started, a lot of you probably already know this, but we lost wrestling legend today, Scott Hall, also known as Razor Ramon. He passed away today. It was reported earlier today that he had multiple heart attacks and he was on life support, and that I think Kevin Nash put a post up that his family was on their way to take him off of life support. So then he passed away sometime this afternoon, this evening. He passed away. So just want to give shout outs to his family and prayers up for everybody, and rest easy. So tonight's big show, well, not big show, but tonight's show was really based around a lot of rumors and things. Was Cody Rhodes going to show up? Who is Seth Rollins going to face at WrestleMania? Is Cody Rhodes going to sign with WWE? They're in Jacksonville tonight. Is he going to show up? And he did not show up. Apparently they're keeping whatever they're doing with him, tight, very secretive and stuff like that, which I'm not mad at. The question is, though, what does Seth do at WrestleMania? Is Seth going to be part of WrestleMania? Now, I'm sure he'll probably end up having a match with Cody Rhodes. But let's just say, he doesn't. Let's just say Cody Rhodes doesn't do anything. Let's just say Cody Rhodes isn't involved in anything. What does Seth do at WrestleMania? We're 19 days away. Do they have a backup plan? It's like, unless he's already signed the contract and he's already, prepared and trained and ready to go, and they already got everything ironed out. Let's just say none of that stuff is done. What does Seth do at WrestleMania? It's like, do you all even have a backup plan? Do you all even have an idea of what Seth could be doing? Is Seth going to be part of WrestleMania? Is he not going to be part of WrestleMania? These are very important questions. And I don't think that as a company they know what they're going to be doing. I don't think as a company they have even thought out that far. Mind you, I told you we're 19 days away and they're still booking matches. I don't even think the whole card is full. So I read something else online that apparently they're going to be adding seven more matches, and I think I said this on SmackDown. I don't know who else they could add. I really don't. So, I thought he was going to show up today because they were in Jacksonville. They let us know they were in Jacksonville several times. They kept saying Jacksonville, Jacksonville, Jacksonville. He did not show up. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next 19 days. I personally would have had Seth Rollins involved in something else. Well, I said this before. I actually would have saved the tag team match for WrestleMania, and then I would have had Cody show up the next night on Raw. That would have been groundbreaking. That would have been talked about for days, weeks, months, about how Cody left AEW to go over to WWE, how Cody, made the transition back to working with the company. What kind of deal did he get? What kind of reaction is he going to get? What kind of storylines and things is he going to be involved in? I would honestly have saved that for the night after WrestleMania. I'm not saying that they're not going to do it, but I don't see them doing it. The night after WrestleMania has those WrestleManias after the Raw after WrestleMania and the SmackDown after WrestleMania have been so underwhelming. I know I was at WrestleMania 35 when they were in New York when Kofi won the title. The next night I went to Raw. It was nothing. It was boring. There was no excitement. So that's my thoughts, my opening thoughts. The show opens up with Kevin Owens, and he's talking about how happy he is because he is going to WrestleMania. He's going to have a segment with Stone Cold Steve Austin. It really wasn't nothing that we haven't already talked about. They're going to do a segment. Again, the way that I would have done this is I would have let KO kept talking shit. I would have let him keep on, talking mad stuff about Texas and doing this and doing that and calling out Stone Cold and this and that. Kind of going back to when John Cena was calling out the Undertaker and the Undertaker just wasn't showing up. That's what I would have did. And then when we got to the KO segment, somewhere maybe within like 5 minutes of the segment, maybe not that long, but somewhere inside the segment, Stone Cold's music would have hit, the glass would have broke, the crowd would have went crazy. It would have been so much better. It would have been so much because you expect it now. I'm not saying it's a bad thing because I understand you're trying to sell tickets and things like that, but could you imagine if KO was out there just talking shit and then all of a sudden Stone Cold music would have hit and nobody would have known that Stone Cold was coming back? You know what I'm saying? It would have been different. It just would have been. It'd have been different. It'd have been better. But again, I don't book the show. I just complain about it and talk about it. He gives a cameraman a stunner, and that was pretty much the opening segment. I could have did without the opening segment. Up next is a rematch. Finn Balor versus Damian Priest. Before the match gets started, Austin Theory comes out. And he's on commentary. So I'm confused because is Austin playing double duty on Raw and SmackDown? Is he going to be feuding with Finn, but also feuding with Pat McAfee for their match? Even I know that's like a quick, one-off match, but I guess he's going to be in a title picture. I don't know. I didn't understand why he was out there in commentary. Because he was already out Friday, so then why did he come out tonight again? And then why is he involved in Finn and Damian Priest's match when he could just make a video, something? He was out on commentary, then he wasn't that good at commentary, and it was like Corey Graves was doing more talking than Austin Theory was doing, trying to hype up the match between Austin and Pat McAfee. But then I'm like, what does this have to do with Finn and Damian? And then he gets involved in the match. He distracts Finn, but it didn't work. So then Finn attacks, and then he gets back in the ring, and Damian Priest covers him and gets a 3 on him. So I'm like, and then Austin attacks Finn when the match is over. So I don't understand. Well, my only thought could be after Finn and Priest's match, because that's going to be the match at WrestleMania. And after after Austin and after Pat McAfee, then clearly they're going to feud, because if they don't feud, then none of this makes any sense. So, again, I don't know why he was out there, but I'm trying to make the best of it. As you see, I'm trying to figure out why he was out there. I don't even think they knew why he was out there, but it is what it is. What else? I think the match at WrestleMania is going to be Finn versus Damian Priest. I'm not interested in that match. We just seen it. This will be the third time we've seen it. There's no need for it. There's no need for. Again, I just would have. I think they rushed too soon, because a lot of this stuff could have just been handled at WrestleMania. Like, you could have just built Finn and Priest up some kind of way, and you could have did a double turn. And here it is. This is what they could have done. When Priest was out a couple weeks ago, I think he said he wants a challenger. He wants the world-class champion challenger to challenge for the U.S. title when he had the belt. Finn came out. Cool. Nothing wrong with that. But that's it. Finn should have came out. They should have built the story up. They should have been going back and forth. And then from there, this should have went into WrestleMania. This should have been the first time they met at WrestleMania for the match. And then you could have took the title off of Damian and gave it to Finn and moved on. So in reality, we wouldn't have gotten them 3 times in a row within a couple of weeks. We would only got them 1 time. So now when you do them again, even if you do some kind of stipulation to the match, it's still not going to be fresh. It's going to be like, Oh, okay, well, here's this match again. Unless you make it a multi-man match, which I don't see that happen. I think the tag team titles are gonna be multi-man. I don't get it. But okay. I don't see Priest getting his title back. So that's that. Outside of that, so as I mentioned earlier, so this show is really based off of KO, Kevin Owens, and Seth Rollins, and figuring out their place at WrestleMania. So our first backstage interview was with Seth Rollins. He was approached by the interviewer. I forgot the guy's name, but he was approached by him, and he was like, KO has his thing he's doing at WrestleMania. What are you going to be doing? Do you have any updates on your opponents and stuff like this? Seth gives him the death stare, and then the interviewer backs up, and then we move on to the next thing, which is some shit that don't nobody care about, which is almost having a match against Commander of whatever his name is, Apollo Crews' guy. It's like a giant versus giant match. There was no build up for it, but again, nobody cares about it. We don't care about it. The audience don't care about it. I thought this was going to be a WrestleMania match, but who knows? They built him up to be the biggest, baddest, toughest guy in the world, but again, nobody's interested. What's his name? Almost wins the match. Nobody cares. And then we're backstage again. So this is the second time that we're backstage with Seth Rollins. Then Kevin Owens walks up to him and he pretty much giving him a pep talk, like, look, you are Seth Rollins. You've had cash-ins. You beat Roman. You beat Brock. You beat this person. You lost to me, but you beat everybody else. Figure out a way on how to get to WrestleMania. You're the innovator. Come up with a way. Like, you're Seth freaking Rollins. There's no way that you're going to miss WrestleMania. So at this point, when they started doing that, I was like, okay, so they're going to bring Cody out now. This is what I was thinking. So the next match. So before all that took place, the match was Liv Morgan versus Zelina, Queen Zelina. Liv gets the win. Carmella is too busy over there with Corey. It's like once Carmella got the Raw, she wasn't doing the same stuff she was doing at SmackDown. At SmackDown, she was decent. She was handling her business. She had some really good matches with Sasha Banks for the title. And then she moved over to Raw, and it was just like she started doing dumb shit again, like the Divas era. So it was like, okay. And so I guess what's going to end up happening. So there's no division. There's no women's tag team division. We're putting teams together now. And I feel like once WrestleMania hits, something's going to happen with her and Zelina, and they're going to break up and feud. Only for you to have one team, and that's going to be the winners. Again, they should have never taken the belts. It was supposed to be on all three shows. I don't know why NXT has their own belt. I haven't even watched NXT, so I can't even tell you who has the titles down there. But there should have never been two women's tag team belts. Your division ain't that damn big to start with in the beginning. And then, and I mentioned this on Friday's show, they brought Natalya out with Shayna Baszler, and I'm thinking to myself, why y'all just didn't leave Natalya and Tamina together? They were just the tag team champions. They just competed as a team last year at WrestleMania. Why did y'all break them up? To have her chase the 24/7 title? It doesn't make any sense to me. So, anyway, Liv gets the win. And I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. At first, the match to me was going to be boring, which is just going to be Sasha Banks and Naomi versus Carmella and Zelina. Carmella and Zelina are not a match. They are not. I hate to say that. I hate to say this the way that I'm going to say this. They're not capable of. Zelina is not capable of putting on a match that wants to get you invested to keep up with the likes of Sasha Banks and Naomi. Carmella can, but Zelina no. So I'm like, something else has to happen. So then they added Rhea and Liv to it, which makes the match a little bit better and a little bit more intriguing, like who's going to win. I still think Sasha and Naomi needs to win. I think that Naomi needs to get the belt because she hasn't had the belt in 5 years, I think. Sasha Banks is 0-6, so she needs to get that win. And then on top of that, you get them together. And I know I just talking shit about people breaking up and stuff like this, but I want them to win the titles, Sasha and them to win the titles. I want them to lose the titles probably around SummerSlam or before SummerSlam, and then I want them to feud. To me, that's the only reason why they're back together. Because outside of that, why are they back together? That's the only thing that makes sense to me. And honestly, in all reality, Naomi should have just walked to the ring and be like, yo, I want to match with you. You know, we would have been fine with that. But they put them as a team. And like I said, I'm fine with a team as long as they end up feuding together, because that's a feud I've always been interested in. And they're at different levels in their careers. So I think the feud can be much, much better than what it was back in the day, if they even finished the feud back in the day. So that's my thoughts on the tag team thing. So after Liv and Rhea get the win, they're standing in the ring. Out comes Seth. He's jumping up and down. He's super excited. So he's coming out with this idea. And like I said, at this point, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Bet they get ready to bring Cody out. So then he invites Kevin Owens out. He's like, I want you to be present for my plan that I'm going to reveal. And then he was like, what if I have a talk show? He starts running down some names. He's like, what if I have a talk show? And then what if I have Stone Cold as a guest on mine? And KO was like, nah, that don't work for me. Like, no, this is my idea. Come up with your own plan. I worked my ass off to come up with this plan to get here. And this is my time. Like, you can't have what I'm having. And KO's like, and Seth is like, KO's like, basically you want the same thing and that's not going to work. So then Seth says, let's have a match. And I'm like, the fuck y'all having a match for? So then he's like, let's have a match. And whoever wins gets to host Stone Cold. Like, they'll get the talk show and gets to host Stone Cold. And then all of a sudden, here comes Sonya Deville. And I'm like, well, when did you become? So you're back to being in power? Oh, okay. Speaking of Sonya Deville, I thought that her and Naomi was going to be the match at WrestleMania. And Naomi was going, like, it should have been Naomi versus Sonya. And it should have been Sonya's GM career on the line. And Naomi get the win. But she comes out, she makes the match, and I'm like, anybody could have made that. That's not even real planning. But I'm like, okay. So then I say to myself, so if they're going to have Cody come out, then they're going to bring him out at the end of the show. This is just thoughts that are going in my head, because it's a lot of talk that he was supposed to come. He's supposed to be Seth's opponent at WrestleMania. So I'm like, okay, cool. So whoever wins, they'll get. They're the main event. Whoever wins will get the host of talk show and get the host with Kevin Owens. To me, it didn't make any sense, because the build has been so much Kevin, down in Texas, talking shit about Texas, calling out this person, going back and forth online with this person, doing this and doing that. And then it's like, why would you take Kevin out there to put Seth into that? It didn't make any sense to me. So I was like, okay, we'll see how this goes. The Mysterios are out next for their match against the Hurt Business, and Logan Paul and The Miz come out. And I said this before, and I'm going to do it again. Let's think about the tag teams on the main roster right now. You got RK Bro, the Usos, the Mysterios, Street Profits, Alpha Academy. I guess the Dirty Dogs, even though Dolph just won the NXT title, but we're going to include them anyway. Who else am I missing? The New Day. Who else? The Hurt. I don't know if I said the Hurt Business, but the Hurt Business. Roberto Carrillo and Angel Garza, and the Viking Raiders. So you have 10 teams. Oh, and Shinsuke and Rick Boogs. So you have 11 teams, right? Out of those 11 teams, you got 4 or 5 on Raw, and the rest are on SmackDown, or vice versa. Why you just don't put the teams, merge the divisions together? That's 11 teams. Just merge the division together. That's so much more competition. It's so much more healthier. Instead of having the same match over and over and over again, you can have some real tag team competitions. You can have tag team tournaments. You can have, this. You can have that. Just merge the division together. If you want to unify any title, unify the goddamn tag team titles. Those titles And those teams need to be put together to make a healthier division. You splitting shit up, it just don't make any sense. Just merge the divisions together and imagine what kind of, you already get great work out of these guys when they're, as they are separately, but imagine you put the divisions together, what kind of work, what kind of stories and stuff you can really get out of them. You can really get tag team stories that don't have to be involved with the title. So I just feel like merge the division together. That should be the match of WrestleMania. The match of WrestleMania should be RK Bro and the Usos, with the Usos coming out on top. RK Bro breaking. Actually, you know what? No, because we should save RKO breakup for next year. That's just a thought. Moving ahead. Getting ahead of myself. But that's anyway. The Mysterios and the Hurt Business have a match. Logan Paul and The Miz are out. They get the win. The Mysterios get the win. Logan Paul and The Miz attack. Okay. Okay. Like, it doesn't. Bianca Belair and Doudrop have another fucking match. This is like the fourth match they'd had in the last couple, in like what? The last month. Bianca gets the win. Becky attacks her from behind. Becky takes her braid and takes her face and slams it into the chair. The bottom of the chair, her throat runs into the thing, and she's sent to the hospital. And I'm so tired of seeing Bianca versus Doudrop. I'm so tired of Nikki Trash in that stupid ass outfit, that stupid ass costume she has on. And when they was coming out, I thought to myself, here's another team y'all done put together, but they weren't. I don't know what's going on with them. Y'all keep having her go against Bianca, but she's not going to get the win. So stop having her go against Bianca. I think after Bianca wins the title, the following Raw at the Mania, Asuka needs to come out. If she is healed and if she's able to come back, the night after Mania, when Bianca's standing in the ring celebrating, Asuka's music needs to hit, and there needs to be the next feud. I do not want to see, or I'll take Rhea. I'll take Asuka or Rhea. I do not want to see Doudrop. I don't want to see Doudrop come out there talking about, I don't deserve that title. I don't need that title. I should have been getting the title. I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to see Becky next to the title. Becky can go and feud with Rhea. She can go feud with Liv. She can go take a break. I don't need to see that. Maybe Bayley will be back in time. Maybe they can feud, something different. And to be honest with you, that is actually when the draft needs to happen. The draft always needs to happen after WrestleMania, because everything is done. All the storylines have been completed, and it's time to move on to new stuff. So WrestleMania is the end of their season, so why not come back with a fresh start and fresh matches and shit like that? But whatever. Up next is the Raw Tag Team Championship celebration with RK Bro. They're out talking about how they're going to WrestleMania, and Randy says he's never gone to WrestleMania with the tag team titles, and with a partner who he can call a friend. I think it's one of my friends put this up. I think that Riddle's going to turn on Matt. Excuse me, Matt Riddle's going to turn on. I think Riddle's going to turn on Randy. The question is, though, the very, very important question is, because this could be a huge match, when do they break up? When do they turn on each other? Because I don't necessarily want to see that match at Money in the Bank, but I wouldn't mind seeing it at SummerSlam. But I also wouldn't mind them going all the way until WrestleMania again. Maybe breaking up towards, maybe breaking up after the Rumble, and then they could feud. Then they could feud all the way going into WrestleMania. But I don't think they're going to. I don't think they can keep that story going that long. But you never know, because the story wasn't supposed to go this long. So you never know. You'll be surprised. The Street Profits come out and they're pretty much just saying, you know, like, we want the titles at WrestleMania. Randy says you just can't win a match and expect to be next in line. I don't know what company Randy working for, because that's how it works in this company. Shit, sometimes you got to be next in line. You need to come out and ask for it and get it, and just be who you are and get a title. He says no. Montez is like, you know, let me just let you know that unlike the past, you know, I'm not asking. We're telling you we're going to face you at WrestleMania. Randy tells them to leave. Riddle says, hold on. You know, we need somebody to face at WrestleMania. So they accept, and then Riddle challenges Montez to a match. The match happens. I think Riddle was getting ready to go for the win. Out comes Otis. He attacks Orton. Gable attacks Dawkins. They attack Montez. So I think it's going to be a triple threat match at WrestleMania, which I'm happy about that. And I actually don't matter to me, because I like all three teams, so I don't care who the winner is going to be. I just would like for them to have a really good WrestleMania. I would like if Gable can get his Mania moment, because he's definitely been working his ass off. He's been probably one of the best things about Raw. But I don't care who wins it though, because I just want a good match, and I think we will get a good match. Add some titles and things like that. Let's get right over Edge. Edge comes out. He comes out after the Mysterios and before Bianca, and he's talking about how he's better than everyone in the ring, and you know, he came back 2 years ago and he did it for the people. And I kind of got lost in his talk and his speech, but he's pretty much saying, you know, like, AJ can't hang with me. That's pretty much what he's saying. I'm looking forward to the match, to be honest with you. I've said this time and time again, and I probably will continue to say it. I'll probably say it the night it happens. They need to be the main event. Whether it's Saturday night or Sunday night, Edge and AJ need to be the main event. It's simple as that. You know, it's simple as that. So yeah, and I've been wanting this. I've been saying this. I think I've been saying before. I said it before. I said it when I found out Edge was facing The Miz at Royal Rumble. I said it then, and I said it all the way to now. You have 100,000 seats you're trying to sell out. One of the marquee matches need to be Edge versus AJ Styles. Simple as that. And they made it happen. They've been listening. So it's time for the main event. KO and Seth are the main event to see who will get the talk show at WrestleMania. So this match started around 10:30, I think. And I'm like, okay, we got a half an hour, probably 1 or 2 commercial breaks. I'm like, okay, maybe they really going to do it. Maybe he really shows up and he really comes out at the end of the match. Because I don't see Kevin Owens losing. And I was right, Kevin Owens didn't lose. But then I looked at my clock and I was like, oh, it's 10:58. Oh, it's 10:59. Oh, the show's gone off. And we still don't know what Seth is doing at WrestleMania. So like I said in the beginning of the show, there's no way they're going to leave Seth off of WrestleMania. But what's the backup plan? You know what I'm saying? Like, if Cody doesn't come through, what's the backup plan? Who does Seth go against? I have no idea. I have no idea at all. So they got 19 days to figure it out. I think what they did tonight was with the main event was pointless if there was not going to be anybody to come out. It was pointless. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this has been my WWE Monday Night Raw review. Did Cody show up? No, he did not. So I guess we'll find out next week what happens with Seth, because after that we'll have. I think next week it'll be officially 2 weeks before WrestleMania. So yeah, we'll see. Everything else seems to be set in stone. Well, I take that back. We got 7 more matches they're trying to book. So I guess we'll get some more information on Friday about who maybe Ricochet would face. I don't know. But anyway, that's been my review. Everybody have a good night. I'm going to go lay it down. And I will see you all Sunday. I will see you all Friday for SmackDown. I will be having a new episode up of Weekend Sessions. Adrian is back from out of town, so be on the lookout for that this weekend. I think I probably should do SmackDown live and then do Weekend Sessions live right after that. But we'll see. We'll see how we all feel. Anyway, peace. Thank you to my subscribers. I'm on a road to 200. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. If anybody wants to collab, if anybody wants to, do some reviews and stuff together, let me know. Hit me up. All my information is in the description. It's on my page and this and that. Everybody enjoy your night and peace.